Welcome. Thank you for joining me for a 30-minute, relatively gentle practice today. I want to set the intention right out the gate that this be about meeting yourself exactly where you are in this moment. So please, please, please listen to your own body. I will be teaching a pretty gentle sequence. That said, all of us are dealing with different things. If you have pain or discomfort, listen to your own body, take care of yourself. Deep breaths and like nervous system regulation is the goal. So there's so many different ways to do that. It's not going to make a difference if you skip a pose or many poses. When you're ready, you can meet me. Oh, well, Milo's going to steal the mat, but meet me standing up actually today. So we're actually going to move just a little bit of energy. Bring your feet about hips distance, and then this is just going to be real easy. Just kind of rotating the torso side to side, starting to take some deeper, clearer breaths. We're really tuning into your body. If you don't think it'll make you dizzy, you can feel free to close the eyes down, move a little slower. And the arms are definitely staying below shoulder height. If you're near a wall, just be mindful of that, or near any objects. We'll just move like this a couple more seconds, twisting, clearing out. And then come into stillness. You're welcome to keep the eyes closed still if you'd like. You can bring the arms to the side with the palms facing forward, or go ahead and wrap your arms around your chest so that you can bring your fingertips to the sides of the ribs. We're going to take a couple deeper breaths here, starting to move the rib cage, the lungs, and the diaphragm as well. So as you're ready, deep clear breath in through your nose. See if you can bring the ribs out into your fingertips and back behind you as well as up. Long exhale through the nose or the mouth, whatever feels most natural. Two more like that. Take your time with it. Deep clear breath into the nose. Rib cage expands out in all directions. And exhale. Maybe feel the shoulders release a little bit. Last one here. Deep, clear breath in, like you're opening up an umbrella underneath the ribs so they expand out in all directions. And exhale, completely drop the arms to the side. Let it go for a moment. And stay still in the standing position or slowly start to shift your weight forward and backward. It's a really subtle movement. So the heels stay down, the toes stay down. Just shifting 90% of the weight back toward the heels and then slowly shifting 90% toward the toes. So you can move that shift side to side, grounded, moving the weight to the outer edges of the feet, the inner edges of the feet. And then using like a sense of proprioception. So without looking, see if you can feel your heels evenly pressing down. Feel the weight equally distributed between your feet here. And start to draw the energy up the legs, lifting up through the chest. Reach the arms up overhead here. Deep, full breath in. As you exhale, slowly, gently fold forward. Hinge at the hips. I'll try and create some mat real estate here. You're in your forward fold. Into a ragdoll, you can catch the crooks of the opposite elbows. It might feel good to give your head a gentle shake or a nod, relaxing the neck and the jaw. Here, when you're ready, you can release the fingertips down, walk the feet forward a little bit if you're not at the top of the mat, and meet me on your back. Just moved a little bit of energy to maybe shift gears and get into the body. Step the feet down underneath the knees, and then once more bring your hands to your torso. Wherever they land is fine. And let the eyes soften or close again. Again, really in tune with your body here. three really foundational elements to a practice like this, and they all have to do with tuning the nervous system. So one is letting the eyes be soft, if not closed. It feels okay to let the eyes soften and close all the way down throughout your practice. I really invite that. Another one is to gently lengthen your pattern of breathing. So it's not a forced deep breath throughout the practice, but we are taking those slightly longer and slower breaths, breathing into the belly, to the chest. Slow exhales. Anytime you want, you can take a pursed lips exhale. It's a nice way to slow that out breath down. So we'll do one of those here together. Ready, take a deep, clear breath in through your nose. Purse your lips and exhale slowly, like you're cooling off a cup of hot tea. And the arms out into a cactus shape here. Windshield wiper the knees, real slow, side to side. See if you can keep them in the frame of your mat. So it's not a big movement to start. Get really deliberate about how you're moving in the joints. So see if you can smooth that movement out. So the third foundational principle, one is letting the eyes close, two is lengthening the breath, and three is moving really deliberately. It's not about speed. It's not even about range of motion right now. How smooth can you make that movement? Feel the thigh bone gliding around in the hip socket. Feel the sacrum rocking side to side here. Bring the knees through center. Let them stay still for a moment. You're going to keep the elbows bent, but bring the forearms up off the floor. And then think cow. We're going to extend the back here. So arch your spine, lift the chest, hips stay down, or I should say your butt stays down and the back of the head stays down. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bring the backbone back down into the mat and then give yourself a hug, reaching your fingertips for the opposite shoulders. If it feels comfortable in your lower back, you can push the feet down and lift the tailbone just like a millimeter away from the floor. Elbows come out to the side again. Inhale as you arch the spine, lifting the chest toward the chin. And then exhale, hug in. Maybe the tailbone tilts. Take a couple more here. Again, it's not about speed. It's not even about getting a huge range of motion. So you can feel those little vertebrae on the back, feel the little pads between the vertebrae. Take one more in each direction. Ending in that hug, and then reach the fingertips and the arms up toward the ceiling. Take a couple circles with the wrists. So really moving in through that wrist joint, maybe moving the fingers, and switch the direction of those circles. Depending on what your day has had in it, your hands maybe have gotten some repetitive motion. I'm going to kind of clear some of that out here. Interlace your fingers, press your palms straight up toward the ceiling to start. You've got that length on the insides of the wrists. And then keep the hands the way they are, but stretch them back up over your head here, opening up through the underarms. You might be off screen. Trying to share space with a cat is a little complicated, especially one as big as this. He's like a Maine Coon or something. Feel into the underarms and the sides of the waist and ribs. And then bring your right knee into your chest here. So we're going to do the same thing. It's going to seem a little bit repetitive in terms of like circular rotational motions. They're really good for the joint spaces. So keep the right palm on the right knee. Left hand comes to the left hip. And then we're just going to rotate that right hip, right thigh in the hip socket. If If I sound like a broken record, I apologize, but really think how smooth can you make that circle? Switch the direction. Can you invite a little bit more of that breath without forcing it? Right leg goes up toward the ceiling. Move your hands, interlacing them behind the right knee. Invite any kind of movement that feels good in the top foot or ankle. So we did a little bit standing, shifting the weight side to side, but if it feels good to rotate that right ankle or point and flex through the right foot a couple times. If you do rotate that ankle, go ahead and switch direction. And then we'll come into our figure four. Bring the right heel out of, or that right outer edge of the foot across the top of the left thigh. And stay here for a moment, do a little check if that feels like enough sensation for you today. That's a great place to stay and breathe. And also reach between the legs and catch the left hamstring. While you're here in this stretch, do a little neck check. So you might lift the head and tuck the chin just like 1/8 of an inch, and then relax the back of the head back down to lengthen out through the cervical spine. Linger in this posture for maybe 30, 45 seconds. Just tuning into the sensations in the body. Being mindful of the breath. Breath cycle, back to sensation, coming back to breath. You can T or cactus your right arm out to the side. Bring your left hand to your right knee. I hope that you have a better setup than I do. And then we're going to take a spinal twist, guiding the knees to the left. Your nose can point straight upward toward the ceiling if that feels good in the neck, or you can play around with nodding your chin towards your right shoulder. I like to think about that kind of sweet spot in each of these postures, like a Goldilocks amount of sensation. So if it feels like you're straining or tensing or fighting with gravity, maybe back off 10-20% and see how that feels. It feels like you're so comfortable that you could just fall asleep and there's really no lengthening of any of the connective tissue going on. You might play around with incrementally taking that twist a little bit deeper, again, without forcing anything. Or you might just deepen your connection to whatever sensations are arising in the body. So deepening the breath. Scanning, doing a body scan here. So if you're holding tension across the forehead and smoothing from temple to temple. Maybe clenching around the teeth and softening up through the jaw and the neck. Cycle of breath here. So there's no rush to transition out of that twist. Bring your head back to neutral. Bring your legs back to the center. Feet are going to step down a little wider than hips distance. And then drop both of your knees to your right. So we'll take a loose twist here. Let me see if I can switch around a little bit here. So both knees are to the right. Maybe the head nods to the left. Make yourself comfortable. And here we're going to roll all the way onto the right side. Bring the knees one on top of the other. Bring the right arm underneath your head. Drop the head down. So the right ear is right in front of your right bicep somewhere. And then see if you can keep the knees glued together. We're going to check in with the thoracic spine, the upper back. Reach the left hand out away from the left shoulder. Some people call this stretch the open book stretch. So the knees stay glued together. But if the spine was the book binding, you're going to lasso your left arm up over your head. Maybe a bend in the elbow feels good. That always feels good to me. And then start to twist the chest toward the ceiling. It's not probably going to go all the way toward the ceiling. Mine definitely does it. But just finding some rotation through the upper back. Sweep the left arm forward again, and then inhale it up over the head. Exhale it down to your side and out in front. A couple more. You can use your breath here, or just gently finding that mobilization in the left shoulder. He thinks it's a toy. So same thing here, we're just stimulating some of that neural tissue in the left shoulder, maybe creating a reset if you have any kind of shoulder tension. A nice way for the body to build trust. So not taking it through any kind of range of motion that actually feels painful. Hence the bent elbow. One more, even slower. I'm not sure if the mic is picking up this purr. Hopefully it's cute if it is. All right, and then go ahead and come to your hands and your knees. Ooh, short on time, that's what I get for talking a bunch at the beginning. Let's take a few very slow rounds of cat-cow. Arching the spine, finding that extension, maybe nodding head from side to side. And then rounding the back, tucking the tailbone under, pressing the floor away with your hands, sending some of those ground reaction forces through the hands. A couple rounds here on your own. And then meet me on your back again. Feet down. We gotta get through that little sequence on the other side. Feet down underneath the knees. This time the left knee is gonna come into the chest. Right hand to the right hip. And then let's circle out the left knee. Switch the direction of those circles. If any kind of lower back pain or pelvic pain, it's going to be a nice opportunity for the body to reset some of that. Left leg up toward the ceiling, maybe pointing and flexing or rotating through the ankle, maybe just staying still and breathing into the sensation of stretch wherever you're experiencing it. Usually in the back of the left thigh somewhere, but it might show up elsewhere for you. That's cool too. Settling for your figure four. Once you land in that stretch, letting the left knee drift away from the body gently. Do a little neck check again. You might lift the head, tuck the chin slightly, and then lower the back of the skull back down. This is our posture that we hold for 30 to 45 seconds or so. Just noticing what wants to arise here. You can have a friendly nod of acknowledgement, body sensation, even toward thoughts. Activating that ability to observe and witness. Left arm tees or cactuses, right hand, left kneecap. Guide the knees to the right. The left knee can drop down or it can stay pointed up toward the ceiling. I'm just listening to the left hip and the outer edge of the left thigh for some guidance around how to make this stretch meaningful for you. Maybe your nose Face pointed at the ceiling, and you nod your chin towards the left shoulder. Come back to the center. Feet about hips distance or a little bit wider than hips distance. Rather, drop the knees to the left. Practice or tee the right arm, or maybe even stretch the right arm up back behind you a bit. From here, you can roll all the way to the left side, setting up for that open book on this side. Knees stay together. Left arm is underneath your head, and then the right fingers come out away from the right shoulder. Inhale as you lasso the right arm up overhead. Exhale, bring that arm down slowly. Inhale, lasso it up overhead, rotating the torso toward the ceiling a bit, and then exhale. You can think as you reach that arm up and back, open the chest toward the ceiling. And as you bring that arm down and forward, close the chest toward the floor. And can you really own every millimeter of space as you move through the right shoulder, the right arm. From here, go ahead and work your way all the way onto your back. One more round of windshield wipers with the knees, tee or cactus the arms, and then maybe it feels good to take a bigger range of motion. I might have some mat space opening back up here. It feels good to move your head the opposite direction of the knees to get that spinal rotation up through the neck. Play around with that. If that doesn't feel great, don't do it. Just focus on the rest of the back. Focus on creating stability where you need it. Just slow down those windshield wipers. One at a time, bring your legs long out in front of you. Let the arms stretch once more back up overhead. You can point the toes, push the heels down into the mat. We'll do 1 moment of progressive muscle relaxation. So squeeze the legs together, squeeze the arms in toward the sides of your head. Tense everything up just for a moment. Take a deep breath in. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Let it go. Relax the legs, relax the arms down towards your sides. Shavasana. Practice of calming the nervous system is really, it's a skill. It takes time and practice to cultivate. I'm certainly not a master, but I really do believe that our ability to calm ourselves down when we have an opportunity, right? It's not something that you want to be able to demand in every situation. Sometimes we need the nervous system to be activated. A lot of the time there's like a residual activation when we have an opportunity to relax. And so practicing that, giving yourself this opportunity to come into stillness, let go a little bit more of some of the muscular tension that's lingering. To really take control of your body's own healing process here. Here, listen for the sound of my voice in a minute or so to pull you up and we'll close together. Your sense of hearing and any sounds that you can hone in on. Move your head slowly side to side. Perhaps it feels good to step the feet down underneath the knees and reach the arms overhead. Eventually transitioning from your back to a seat, taking your time, again, being deliberate about that transition. Patient with your body if it needs a little extra time to work from your back to a seat. And then bring your hands, spread the fingers out wide, bring one hand underneath the other, right above the heart space. Take a moment to close practice intentionally. Maybe offer yourself a moment of gratitude or appreciation for cultivating this practice of calming your nervous system, of caring for your joints, body. A deep breath in as you lift the chest into the palms, lift the shoulders into the ears. Big, long inhale here. Hold it at the top. And then let everything go. I didn't even go over. Amazing. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a good rest of your day.